98.9 WGUF, Naples FM Talk.
Okay, we are back on Open for Business with Gibbons and Cipolla. And looky here, we have another guest in studio. Carl, you are in charge of the introduction.
I am.
Go ahead, my friend. You're the fifth Beatle.
There's all these people in my bedroom. I haven't got a clue what's going on. Right, no, seriously. Our guest today is John C. John is the founder and CEO of the Grow Business Network, which is the fastest growing B2B network group in Southwest Florida, with 6 chapters, or teams, as John likes to call them, stretching from Naples to Cape Coral. We're going to be chatting to John about networking, the future of networking, and where it's all going to go. Because if you want your payroll paid by Gem Payroll, you've got to make the sales first. And the way you make the sales first is to get new business. The way you get new business, in fact, according to the Wall Street Journal, 98% of all B2B business is generated by your network. In other words, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's where John comes in. And if you've got any questions for John, give us a call, 239-430-CHAT. That's 239-430-2428. John, welcome.
John, welcome, John.
How are you?
Love the round of applause. Thanks,
there
Frank.
you go.
Thanks, Carl. Appreciate it.
It's good. John, welcome to the show. Give everybody the quick 10-second tour of the Grow Network. What are you all about? What makes the Grow Network different from all the other network groups?
Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Frank. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, it was a pleasure having you on, John. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, John. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, quickest interview I've ever had. Fantastic.
That was easy.
So the Grow Business Network exists to bring value to one another's lives through education, also through referrals. We have fantastic meetings. We meet weekly, and we just love getting together, helping one another with their business grow. I mean, it's in the title, it's in the name of the company, Grow Business Network, and that's why we exist, to help one another bring substantial value to each other's businesses.
Now, John, right after I started my business years ago, it has to be 30-some-odd years ago, the first thing I did was
God,
join...
you've got a good memory.
Yeah. First, October 1st, I believe, of 1991. So it was about 30 years ago. The very first thing I did was join a networking club, and my business just grew from there.
Sure.
Because you always want to do business with somebody you know,
right.
and you get a referral from a friend and so on, and it expands. But we're in a different world now. We're going to talk about the pandemic in just a moment. There's fewer opportunities, and I've said this before. I'm a hugger, I'm a backslapper, I'm a handshaker, and I can't do that when I have a Zoom get-together. So what are yours like right now based on the pandemic?
That's right, Frank. You're like my wife. It's hard for her to not meet someone and give them a hug, right? So
yes.
When all of this started breaking loose back in February and March, and people had to wear a mask and don't touch me, don't even fist pump, anything like that, that was tough. So I completely understand that. And it did make networking, face-to-face networking, a problem, because that's what it's built on. It's built on that relationship with somebody else. And we all know it's hard to have long distance relationships. It's hard to have a Zoom relationship. You miss the emotion, you miss the action, the interaction, you miss the hugs or the handshakes. And that fell off for a little bit. All networking that I'm aware of went to the Zoom meetings. We even did that for a short time. But one thing that makes us much different right now is we joined back up. We started meeting face-to-face just over 2 months ago. So we did the Zoom calls for a little bit, but what we noticed that was different right off the bat was people not being attentive to other people's conversation. So when you're in a group of 20 or 30 business owners and one person speaking about their business, everyone's there and attentive and focused on that business and how to help one another. When you're on a Zoom call with 20 to 25 business owners and you're looking at a screen on your computer or your phone, and all of a sudden it dings and you've got a message or you have a voicemail, you get very distracted very quickly. You end up on a rabbit hole down something that you shouldn't be focused on during your meeting time. And so that was very difficult, and I know that continues to be difficult for certain networking groups that are still doing Zoom calls.
That sounds like my conversations with Frank when I'm on Zoom with Frank.
Yeah, exactly, because I'm not paying attention most of the time to Carl, unfortunately.
I hear
No,
you.
I'm kidding. I love Carl. Let me ask you a follow-up question. Let me do the reporter follow-up question. Are your in-person meetings now safe? I mean, are people required to wear masks? Are you taking all the proper precautions? Or what are you doing exactly?
Good question, Frank. So what we did when we came back is we lightened our attendance policy. So we have an attendance policy where when you join the network, you agree to be at 3 of the 4 meetings every month. And what we did is we lightened that up during the pandemic. And then when we came back, we also gave people people freedom to not come to the meetings if they didn't want to. But what we found was people returned very quickly. Within about 3 weeks, we were almost back at 100% attendance. Business owners want to be together. We made it an option for owners here in Collier and Lee County to be able to come. If they want to wear a mask, that's fine. No judgment, nothing there. And out of 20 to 25 business owners at our meetings, you would see 1 to 2 people with a mask. The majority of people did not want to use a mask. Our meeting locations are pretty large areas, like restaurant areas that aren't opened yet, church big sanctuary rooms on the side that could seat 100 people. So we were able to space out and have enough space for everybody to still be comfortable, but still see each other face to face.
John, we talked a little bit earlier about the new sprouts of business that are coming through, and the fact that there are now literally millions of new businesses being created out there. What the new business owner need to know about the importance of networking? What is this all about? Because I know when I first started out, when I had hair, and that was a long time ago. Hey, remember you're a guest on this show.
Right, that's right.
You're right. When I first started out, we did all the usual things, right? We joined the Chamber of Commerce because, hell, isn't that what you do when you start a business? You join the Chamber of Commerce, and then you and you still should, by the way. No, nothing against Chambers of Commerce. And then people would say to me, "Well, what is your networking like?" It's like you do things because that's what's expected of you to do, as opposed to making it work and leveraging it for you. So why is it important? Why do business owners need to know how important it is?
Well, like Frank said at the beginning of this segment, right? That's how he started, and that's how a lot of business owners will start. They need to meet other business owners because they become their marketing. They become their people in front that go out and talk to other people and bring other people in. So that's really the key. You get to build that relationship with a vendor or somebody you can trust, but then also they do the selling for you. They're your sales staff, because so many of these businesses are a one-person show or maybe a two-person. They don't have a marketing team. They don't have a CEO. They don't have all these different people in the organization. So that's what the team becomes. It becomes all those other hats.
Right. So everybody becomes an advocate for everybody else.
That's right.
So what makes a good networker? What are the qualities of a good networker?
I would say the number one quality of a good network is a networking team who is there to help one another first. They're not there to grow their business. They're there to help others grow their business. One of the things I love about our network group, when a new member comes in, especially people like Tom was saying earlier in that segment, we have a lot of new businesses that are coming up. You mentioned at the beginning of the hour how we have so many more applications for people to start, like LLCs and things like that. I love it when new people come in and they're brand new and they just need anything and everything they can get. We focus really high on those people and say, hey, all of us this month are getting them at least one referral or connection to get them just catapulted into their business, right? We want them to do that super V that we hear a lot about and just off and rolling, because once that happens, they are sold in networking, like Frank said at the beginning of the hour.
Yeah.
You see that success, Frank, you did 30 years ago, and you know what? That's what happened to you. You were hooked, right?
Right.
You know, one of the things we did in our business club years ago was everybody had to bring a tip or possible lead or referral on a weekly basis. And we all went around the table and did so. And I can't tell you how many I got over that period of time. But what are the 3 must-make moves, John, for anybody who is contemplating joining a network club or returning to a network club?
Number 1 is when you come into the network group, look to see if that team is a team you can help. If you're coming into a network team that you're looking, if they can help you, you're not going to last long. It just doesn't happen. That's one of the big no-nos.
So you've got to want to give. It's about giving. It's not about taking.
You have to give. If you come to take, people, we all know that. It's in our human DNA to pick up that if I'm sitting with Carl, if I'm sitting with you, Frank, I know right away if our conversation's just for you to achieve or get something, or are you listening? Are we talking because you want to know more about my business and what I do for my clients? So that's very important. In networking, number 2, I'd say you need to show up to the meetings. You have to show up to meetings, and even if it's a Zoom call, you have to show up and be there. You have to be present, cell phones away, computers away, all that stuff, and you have to be there focused, again, to find out what am I going to be able to help somebody with. And I would say really a key third thing is you have to have a business that is going to really serve and help others. If you don't have that, it's hard to give you a lead because maybe we don't trust you or like your business, or maybe it's just not a good business to recommend.
Excellent.
Or not a good fit. Or not a good fit.
That's right.
Right. So we're at the bottom of the hour. John, can you hang around? We've got to pay some bills,
Sure.
like everybody else, and we'll pick up this conversation.
As long as I get a little cut of it.
As long as you get a cut. All right. Mr. 10% here.
Carl, you didn't say anything about bills here. I'm just finding this out now.
I don't know who this Bill is. I know Frank, I know Tom. I've got no idea who Bill is.
All right, we are going to take a break. You're listening to Open for Business with Gibbons and Cipolla on 98.9 WGUF, Naples FM Talk. We will be right back. We are back on the big show, and we're going to continue our talk with John C., the founder and CEO of Grow Business Network. Carl, take it.
John is here, and he's networking now.
I'm networking.
Is he?
He's on Skype or Facebook Live.
Facebook Live on the Grow page.
Facebook Live, and he's videoing it all out. It's all good. But if you've got any questions for John and want to talk about anything to do with networking, then give him a call. Give us a call, 239-430-CHAT. That's 239-430-2428, and we will take your call and find out what's going on. Now, John.
Yes.
Here's the thing. In my world, there are two sorts of people.
Yes.
There are hunters.
Yes.
And there are farmers.
I've heard that.
You've heard that, right?
I've heard that.
There's the hunter. Frankly, all they want to do is they're going to tell you all about how good they are, how many people they can hook you up with, how many people they can connect you with, all of those things, as long as you let them dip their hand into your Rolodex, right? And, of course, what happens? Nothing happens. Right? Then there's the farmer. The farmer who's the guy that literally what all good farmers do, tends the soil, plants the seeds, eventually the plant grows, it bears fruit, and it consistently bears fruit. Which is the better networker?
Oh, definitely the farmer, because when people come to our network meetings and they show up and they're ready to just, shoot out their business cards to everybody in the network before they even have a relationship or know that person, you just pick up on that really quick. So that's definitely the hunter. They're there to just kill. They're there to find that one person that they can give business to instead of seeing a network team of 20 to 25 people and going, hey, this is my farm. I'm going to nurture this. I'm going to grow this.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a turnoff, quite frankly, John.
Yeah.
I've been at meetings like that where, and it may not be the case, but there's this palpable sense of desperation sometimes when they're handing out cards.
You can smell it. You can smell it.
You can smell it. You can see it.
It's discouraging. Yeah.
You can smell it. And I have to tell you as well, it's also been my experience, and John, I don't know whether you want to comment on this, there's this invisible line in the sand, and for some people it's 3 meetings, for some people it's 6 months, some people it's a year, but the rest of the group are watching you and monitoring you, and once you cross that invisible line, and for different people it's at different points, but once you
Mm-hmm.
cross that line and they know and they trust you and they see that you're committed, if the floodgates open, that's when it all starts. That's when the magic happens.
It's a domino effect.
Right.
So as soon as that first domino falls, and it may be small, it may only get you something real simple in business. You may get a really small lead, make $100 on something you close business with.
Right.
But it's after that. The small one knocks down another big one, and people hear, hey, John did a great job taking care of my client. Hey, Tom did a good job with the books and the payroll.
Right.
Man, we got to get him into a bigger company.
Right.
And so it just snowballs.
Right. Well, we've got Matt on the line. Matt?
Hello, Matt.
Sir.
Matt,
Hello, Matt.
Matt, thanks for calling. What's your question?
I just wanted to say I actually joined the Business Grow Network a couple months ago, and since I joined with Mr. C, I've noticed a definite growth in my business. I'm actually doing food delivery in Cape Coral, so it's really great to be a part of Mr. C's business networking group.
Good on you, Matt. Well done.
There's a recommendation right there.
Absolutely well done.
Thank you, Matt.
But if you want to run a commercial, you got to pay. That's what I say. Off you go.
Matt's a great guy. Yeah, Matt joined our Cape Coral team. We have a team up in the Cape, and he joined that team just, I think, within the last 30 days. Matt's a great guy, good go-getter. Thanks for calling, Matt. I appreciate that, and thanks for the recommendation and the confidence there. Only person who's Mr. C is my dad, though, so you can call me John. I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's get back to business here. Let's get down to business, right? Okay. So, John, what's the biggest challenge for the Grow Business Network or any networking group going forward?
Sure.
What's the big challenge now?
Wow. Big challenge. Definitely coming out of this situation we're in with COVID and encouraging people to get back out and meet and greet with people. That has been the biggest challenge. It's lightening up quite a bit, I've noticed, here in Southwest Florida over the last couple months. But that has been the biggest challenge. The other challenge, I'd say, if I could do an extra bonus challenge part, I would say the extra thing is for people to see that they are there to help others and not themselves. That's a big challenge because we all want to, what's in it for me?
Right.
We have that mentality.
Yeah.
So what's in it for you? That's a big challenge.
Right.
Yeah, but that's not how you mentioned the farmer as opposed to the hunter.
Right.
All good people who go to these meetings understand that it takes probably several weeks before you make a pitch. You want to get to know the gentleman. Is he married? What are his kids' names? So on. You want to sort of schmooze. To use a New York word, you want to schmooze at these meetings.
That's right.
And before you start handing cards out. And you're right, it's commitment. You got to be there every single week so they see you again and again and again and again.
Of course, the only person that loves that is the printer, right?
They love seeing it. That's right. Printers do well in these groups.
Yeah, they absolutely do. You're
The
right.
printer loves it, right? All right, okay.
deal.
So, John, where can our listeners find you? Where can they find your network? How do they get hold of you? What's the deal?
So, yeah, great question. Thanks, Carl. Where people can find us, growbusinessnetwork.com. That's our website. Of course, we're on Facebook. We're also on LinkedIn and also some YouTube videos as well, too, how to network well with other businesses. So those are the places primarily people can find us. My phone number, 239-304-6224. Love helping people with that. I know I said that quick, but that's on the website. Reach out to me, and we will let you know if there's a seat open for your industry because these teams are set up to where only one industry per team is there, So, for instance, advertising and marketing, there's only one seat for them. You mentioned printers a little bit ago. That's the beauty of networking. You hold that seat, and you hold all the other printers out. You hold all the other payroll people out, and you get all the business if you're a good, if you're there to give and help one another.
Now, before we go, I want to hold that thought. So, what happens if Jimmy the printer
Yes.
is not a good networker?
Good question.
Yet John the networker, who was also a printer, who is an absolute stellar, right? He can't get in.
Right. Good question. So what typically happens is they will weed themselves out. If they're not good at what they do, they're probably not showing up to meetings as much as they should. So we work through attendance issues there. If they're not giving referrals and they're not helping one another, or if they're not taking care of referrals or clients, then we have those conversations with people individually. We help monitor that, make sure that the team is strong, and that's the way to work through it. Now, every once in a while you have an issue, you work through it, and get the next printer in who's going to do a much better job.
All right. So in essence, you get taken beyond the the cycle shed with a baseball bat.
That's right.
And you're
Not exactly. Not exactly.
Well, that's what
he said a conversation. A private conversation.
Sorry, but you get the gist. You get the
Yes,
gist.
I know.
All right, John. Thanks very much for.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for being our guest.
You're welcome.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
98.9 WGUF Naples FM Talk.